know what it is now. Boys and girls of the podcast world. Matt and Tyler on the mics. They're gonna stay here until they agree. They're gonna stay here until they agree. Oh, thank you for listening. This show's called Until We Agree. Oh, thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Hutch. Welcome back to Until We Agree. I'm Tyler from Until We Agree with Matt from Until We Agree. We are with Matt and Tyler from Until We Agree.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, you guys just heard Hutch's music. We thought it was indistinguishable from last week's.
Right.
But I heard otherwise, unfortunately, throughout the weeks. Let me just pull up the messages I received.
Yeah, please do.
What'd we say about singing on the podcast? Please stop singing on the podcast. And these are different messages. I'm reading a bunch of different messages. Yeah. Again, please, this is identical. Please stop singing on the podcast. Where'd Hutch go? Leave it to Hutch.
Yeah.
And so there's a million more, and they're basically all in the same vein of like, please never do that again. That didn't sound like Hutch.
Yeah. I think the best feedback I got, because I'm very similar. The best feedback I got was that was kind of funny, which could be not even positive in any degree either, just depending on how you interpret that. I'm choosing to interpret it as that was kind of funny, like a funny idea. I'm not sure that's what it actually meant.
Yeah, like maybe they were like, it's so bad that it's kind of funny.
Right.
But here's a thing that people don't understand, and I wouldn't expect them to understand because, just the world of audio.
Sure.
We were on delay, so if we were in the same room, we crushed that, and everybody knows it.
The delay was what the issue was, for sure.
The delay was the issue, and so I think that was important to note. Anyways, we're back. How was your week?
So good. So good. 4th of July week was outside. Some was inside some. But had a good time with friends. I would say and family, but I did not see my family. How about you? Family's great, though.
It was great. I didn't do a thing for 4th of July. I made myself a burger. Just hung out.
Nice, man. That's awesome.
Yeah. It was sick.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I'm excited to get into it. I see here on the agenda, though, something that I did not approve of or know anything about. What does itchy mean?
Yeah, so I'm glad you asked. I'm glad you kind of brought that in from the 4th of July conversation. I just wrote itchy on the board today just because I've been really itchy the last few days.
Why?
See, and I don't totally understand why. I played golf on Friday and it was raining in the morning, and then I looked at the forecast and it said it was going to stop raining, but it did say it was going to be mostly cloudy with a chance of more rain later in the day. So I thought I was totally fine. I did put sunscreen on my face, which was a hero move. I'm glad I did that. I got probably my first pretty bad sunburn of the year on my arms and legs where I didn't have clothes on, which would be my exposed lower arms and exposed mid thigh down to ankle. So I believe that's the root of it, because it kicked in around yesterday afternoon, which is Sunday afternoon. So about 2 days later, I really came into a real itchy state that I think I'm slowly coming out of, but I was only itchy on my sunburn. So I think that's the root of it, but I'm not positive.
It's like sun poisoning light.
So potentially, yeah. And what all this to say is, a few months ago, you can go back and listen to this on the podcast Until We Agree with Matt and Tyler from Until We Agree. I took a really hardline stance that said, obviously you would want to be itchy over sticky, permanently. If you had to be one of those, the obvious answer is you want to be itchy. I am less confident on that now because I've been itchy for about 24 hours, and it has been borderline unbearable. And in a sense that it's not even bad itchy. And I said, and I even in that podcast I said, if it's only marginally itchy, I will live with that over being sticky nonstop, because just the wake of damage you leave as a sticky person would be enough to turn me off to that. I'm not so sure anymore. I think at this point I would rather just disadvantage other people and kind of make their life harder if I'm just sticky and making them sticky in return, and their things, than me just be kind of itchy, because I'm getting quite sick of it, if I'm being honest. I think I'm coming out of it, but yeah, not so sure on the itchy sticky debate anymore.
That's a great update. I appreciate that you are okay with owning up to your mistakes. Have you been using aloe?
No, and that's the thing. I don't know if it is an aloe thing. The sunburn was never even bad.
You won't know unless you try.
That's a good point, but it feels like it's too late at this point too. But I don't know. Maybe it's not. I usually am pretty, as like a pretty like not tan person. I'm usually pretty good about sunscreen, and I really don't ever burn. So this is kind of like that one time a year where I let my guard down and it's coming back to bite me. And I've never been itchy like this on a sunburn before. So if you're an expert on itchiness or sunburns, leave a comment down below on what this means. So yeah, I think that's enough about my like. What even is, I don't even know what itchy is. That's the thing that's like so annoying about it, is like, why is my body telling me I'm itchy when I'm clearly like don't need to be itchy? That's a whole, I don't quite understand that. It's kind of like, why does your body know, why does your body tell you you're in pain when you like break an arm or something? I've never, like, I get it, like your body needs to tell you not to use your arm or whatever. I think that's the reason. That's just stupid though. That's a different conversation.
Well, I think the itch is like, it's the same thing. Like, so like I would assume it came from like when you were in a cave or something trying to survive and bugs were crawling on you.
Sure. And
so you like, could feel them and you itched them away. But now we just get phantom itches.
Right. Now I work in corporate America now. I don't like necessarily worry about bugs the way my forefathers did.
You have forefathers?
No, I have one father, but FORE fathers.
Right.
Fathers before me.
Yes. Okay. Just clarifying for the audience, because you actually, this is something, I don't know if you ever took a hard stance on last week.
Sure.
It was like the cousin dating thing.
Mm-hmm.
You were kind of like, because we were talking about Kyle Filipowski, which I do need to clarify. You kept saying Filipkowski.
Is that
That's
right?
not his name. That is not his name. His name is Kyle Filipowski. No K in there, no Filipkowski. It's Filipowski.
Well, I stand corrected on two things then. That and you're right. I was kind of on the fence about the cousin dating thing, and I really do need to clarify. I'm anti-cousin dating. Okay,
I just wanted to clear that up one more time, just because I got also some questions about that. Mm-hmm. People were like, what was he trying to say? So yeah, I'm glad that. Okay, I'm glad that we got through that.
Yeah, thank you for holding me accountable on that.
Yeah, no problem. And now that we know that cousins can't be couples, we have another couple to address.
This is good. Yeah. Why don't I kind of lead us into this?
Please do. I was not there.
Right. Yeah. So over the 4th of July, kind of like I mentioned, I was outside and inside. And at one point when I was outside, I was at a friend's birthday party. And as you guys know, the Rat Pack from the early days, we really wanted to do couples counseling early on in the show's life. But it got kind of hard to lock down a couple to come on the show. But I kind of came across a couple who was having like an actually like pretty intense debate about kind of like a silly topic. And I was like, this is like gold for us. So I ended up just recording them. And I think what they need, I think, is for us to take a side, because it's a debate that, while I say it's like silly, these silly things start to add up, and can lead to divorce. So I think we need to step in and resolve this conflict for them, because they don't have an answer. So why don't we play that clip, and then maybe we have our resident married guy,
a special guest.
Yeah, we have one married guy who I think could also give a good I don't know, a good perspective after what he did last week. But we have Noah on standby to kind
Redemption
of also
incoming.
If me and Tyler don't agree, he will be the tiebreaker on what they should do. So we have him just on standby just in case. So why don't we play the clip? It is a long one, buckle in, but I think it's good, and I think it gives a good context. So why don't we play that now? Here's Zach and Katie. Okay, go ahead.
We have a laundry room that is a very large size laundry room.
Whoa, wait. Time out. It's not.
It's like 10 by 10.
It's not a large size laundry room.
It is a large size laundry room compared to like a laundry closet.
Well, yeah, sure. A house is way bigger than a shack. Like, what are we saying?
Our laundry room is the size of their kitchen, just a different shape.
Their kitchen being the house that we are currently at.
Yes.
You got to give context. It's
yes,
not
okay.
medium.
So our laundry room is large enough to we have a drink fridge in there, we have a washer dryer, And then we also have a little spot in the corner. There's also like the water heater and some air duct stuff, but we have
Our
spot.
air handler. Our air handler, which is the biggest thing in the room, takes up 1/4 of the room. The other one is the hot water heater, which takes up another quarter of the room.
Yeah, and then we have the washer dryer, and then there's an open spot. And
One open spot, because the rest of the room is taken up by literally everything else in there. Washer, dryer, fridge, shelves for storage. Drinks are stored on the ground that can go into the fridge because it's a small fridge, because we can't get a big fridge in there because it's small.
So there's an open spot in this room. And the hang dry rack fits perfectly in that spot.
The open spot is about 3 feet by 3 feet. This hang dry rack is probably 2.5 by 2.5.
Yes, so it fits perfectly. Case in point. So I was like, perfect. And this is great because when you take stuff out of the washer, you can just put it right there. It's tucked away. It has a door, so no company sees all of your unmentionables being dried on the thing.
We're gonna move this. If you want to come join us.
So then
We'll do.
the issue
The door
is
is always open to that room anytime we have
no,
company,
I
so
close
it
it.
never
and
matters.
I close it because Moose eats out of the trash.
We got a trash can with a lid that fixes that
Who's
issue
Moose?
going. Our dog.
Moose is our dog, and he eats out of the trash. But so, we don't want him to. It's just
We got a trash can with a lid that now negates that problem, so now that is invalid. Continue.
Okay, anyway, so we have a perfect spot for this drying rack. I put my clothes there. All of a sudden, one day, Zach just walks in and he was like, we have to move this thing. It's
Pause.
terrible.
I have been complaining about this for months. Continue.
And so I got really annoyed because I was like, the thing is that it is so functional to just have the laundry rack right there, because then when you're washing your clothes, you take it straight out of the washer right there. You don't have to go into a different room. It can hang dry there. I do think I could be wrong in that I often leave my clothes hang drying there for like 2 to 4 weeks.
Weeks.
And I'll admit that I leave them there too long, but you can close the door. So when company's over, it doesn't matter. The issue is that when company's over, we do direct them into that room to get a drink out of the drink fridge, but that's just a problem we have to live with. And so Zach wants to move it, but the issue is his solution is to move it into the middle of our bedroom.
Not entirely true.
What's your other solution?
Okay. So our bedroom, imagine it like a galley bedroom, like a shotgun house, but it's a bedroom. So it's long, but it's not very wide. So we have a section of our bedroom towards the end of it, not where our bed is, but we have a lot of unused space in there. So I said, hey, let's put this drying rack in our bedroom in this unused space, because the unused space is about, I would say 6 feet by 8 feet instead of 3 feet by 3 feet.
Yes.
I see the convenience in having it in the laundry room because, of course, washer straight to hang dry, like no drippage. That's great. Well, there is drippage because it's dripping on the floor because it's hang drying, but I digress. So I get it, but I present to you a clothing line that's hung up so it at least gets things off of the floor, or hanging the clothes in our bedroom or our closet.
I brought up the closet. Okay, now case in point, this is my last point, and then I think we should leave it up to Matt and Tyler to decide for us. Zach is gone for work 9 months, cumulatively 9 months out of the year. He doesn't even live in the home. He lives in the home at most half of the week, usually significantly less.
I would be fine with the solution being that when I'm gone, you can do whatever you want with the house, just don't burn it down. But when I'm home, maybe you could change where it is. Maybe that's a solution.
I disagree. We'll leave it to Matt and Tyler for the rest.
Don't sleep on the fact that the space that she is using right now is 3 feet by 3 feet, and the space I presented is 6 feet by 8 feet that is not being used.
Decor-wise, that's so ugly and inconvenient.
So is the laundry room. So I was putting it in the laundry room.
I can't wait to hear what we should do.
All right. Thank you, Zach and Katie. That was a long one. They're fans of the show, so they know we like to get all the information possible. So I appreciate them laying all that out for me. I started recording about halfway through that debate, so they were nice enough to go back and kind of give the background information again. So overall, my first gut instinct is they've been married for about a year. I know that. My first thought is annulment I don't think is off the table.
Okay. That's a good sign. That's a good sign.
I think that would, like, if this does go the way I fear it might, at the very least, we can at least help them to move on. But if we do want to address this and maybe solve this one issue that they clearly have many of,
might be too big of a mountain to climb, but we'll see.
Yeah, even for us, but we'll give it a go. So what's your initial side that you're taking between the two?
Well, I was on the fence until I heard. So she said that nobody goes in there except for when people come over, they send them in there.
Right.
And that immediately, that's like, you just contradicted it. It's over.
Mm-hmm.
You lost.
Mm-hmm.
And so, unfortunately, it has to be moved, I think, if you're sending people in there, because you can keep, at least you have to move it when people are coming to the spot in the bedroom if you're going to have clothes hanging there.
Mm-hmm.
But that being said, how old are we, and do we not have a real dryer? Why don't we just throw it in the real dryer?
Well, I think they do. Well, I think there's some things that may not have been mentioned in the clip. That might have been a before conversation. This is just for stuff that doesn't need to be dried. That can't be dried in a dryer. Which was news to me. And it might be news to you too. You don't just dry it. Apparently, like,
I will say, I'll come out on record and say, if there are items that do not need to be dried in a dryer, I need to have a list of what those are immediately.
Because you're drying them for sure right now.
I have been drying them for sure.
And you're not alone. That was the most eye-opening part for me too. That being said, I think you and Zach are totally wrong. And Zach, I know, is going to be devastated that you took his side because he hates taking your side. So this is already a bad start for Team Tyler. Here's the thing. He kept talking about how it doesn't fit in the washing room, the laundry room. It clearly fits perfectly. I don't get why he's like, we need 6 to 7 feet to handle a 2 foot wide rack. If a 3 foot wide rack in the place where you're doing the washing.
It's not that you need 6 to 7 feet. And by the way, he said 6 by 8.
Sure.
It's not that you need that space. It's that space will house it more comfortably than the space it's currently in. And it also like defeats the argument where, if we're sending people in there to get drinks, they're not going to see it because it's now in the bedroom. It's not in there.
So suddenly this podcast hates being snug as a bug in a rug, because I know for a fact, bro, you love being snug as a bug in a rug. This rack fits perfectly where it's at. Here's where they're wrong. And I think Katie is admitting this as well. And I know, and she knows she's wrong. And I know she's wrong too. This is the one thing she needs to change. It sits there for 2 to 4 weeks. Like
that's another point like on my list that I feel like
yeah.
What, like, you're just arguing against your own side now.
Well, no, the answer is somewhere in the middle for sure. The answer is more correct for Katie though. I think we both agreed the answer is somewhere in the middle.
No.
Yes. You just said you were on the fence about
move the rack. No, I was until she said that they actively send people in there to get drinks. If the whole point is that you don't want people to see your unmentionables hanging up, don't be sending it into the room that's where they are. That's the only place that they are.
But what I'm saying is keep it where it is. But when guests are coming over, these clothes don't need to dry forever. Move them at that point. It's time. Like when you have guests over, do you not prepare your house? And I know they do as well. You prepare your house for guests. If you know your guests are going to be in there, get rid of the unmentionables. But that's still the perfect place for the rack to be, is right where it fits in the laundry room. Then you're not carrying. There was such an issue about.
Let me put you onto space and time for a second. That can fit in multiple places.
Yeah, but the most functional place is right next to the washer.
I get that next to the washer makes sense because it goes right there. But you know what also makes sense? Putting it in the bedroom, because you will be more inclined to then take it off there and hang it in your closet.
I absolutely disagree.
It's much closer to your closet now, and now you're not going to want to watch those unmentionables hang if they're in a spot that would kind of prompt you to put them in the closet. I have a problem with drying my clothes and then letting them sit in the dryer for a while because they're so far away from my closet. I don't want to walk all the way over there. My apartment is a whopping 600 something square feet. I'm not going to walk all the way.
That you're embarrassing yourself right now with that, whatever that is. 100% embarrassing yourself. No, the thing is I would feel more inclined to move the items if I know they're in a place where people are going to be. I frankly wouldn't care if my unmentionables were in a room.
Yeah, but
where
clearly
I'm-
that's not
where
the
only I'm
case.
at.
But clearly that's not the case between these two, because they wouldn't be having this argument if she felt the same way. If she felt like she needed to move the items when people were coming over, she would be doing that.
And that's, I think, at the very least, that's more of a knock on her than the actual act itself. I think the act itself is
consider
totally
it
valid.
knocked.
Okay. No, and here's the point that I think we're really overlooking. And I don't think they really specified. He's gone for 9 months out of the year.
That's a long time. I will say
Yeah.
that's a long time.
Why not
And
make
it does feel like when he said, "I don't care what you do with the house, other than just don't burn it down," I feel like there's other things like flooding and stuff he should be worried about. But
Yeah.
that's another topic.
sure.
Um,
Yeah, and but then again, it kind of goes back to my first point where it's like, why not just make it 12 months out of the year? You know, you're already over halfway there, and clearly there's some issues here.
3/4. Some would say 3/4.
Yeah, there's an argument for that for sure. But yeah, I think that's the debate at its core is what we've hit. I still think it makes sense for it to be where laundry exists, and then just make the move when you have guests coming over, so they don't
See,
they
but
don't
no,
anything.
but the reason you put it, you take it out and you put it in the room near the closet, likely, I'm guessing that's near the closet, is because then it's an easy move once it's dry into the closet, and then you don't have to worry about it at all.
I don't know, man. Once you're like almost there and you stop, that's like the easiest place to stop is like when you're knocking on the
What
door
items
being
can't
closed.
be dried? That's my question. I still need to know.
Yeah, that's the real shock of this whole debate. That being said, we've already started this debate. Why don't we bring in our marriage expert, and let him give his input. Noah has been given the opportunity to prepare this week. He was really caught off guard
in advance. Yeah.
For the most simple question I don't think we get much simpler than what we asked him last week. But he's here, he's in our call, he's recording his audio, and he's ready to give his input.
Yeah, I'm back.
All right.
So
How you
do
doing,
I get
Noah?
to hear anything I'm good? Do I get to hear anything about what you guys said, or am I just going in with just straight my opinion?
I think we can fill you in after. I think we'd like to hear what you think just right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I have a couple questions first that I think need to be answered, and I have a couple 3 things I thought were wild from this call, and then I'll give my answer.
I think we may have touched on those. Let's do it.
Okay. How many clothes have to be hung up like that?
That's what we
First off.
both. Okay, so we are all on the same page. We
Yeah.
didn't know that things couldn't go in the normal dryer either. That's what I'll say.
Yeah,
I didn't know that. This is new to me, and I'm learning.
Yeah, I just go straight dryer, and then I do have stuff stacked up, but it's a pile on my bed. So
Right.
different story.
Ooh, in the bed is interesting.
Let's
Okay.
see. Well, on the bed, see, I have a chair, so I move it. I put it on the bed. And then I move it from the bed to the chair when I go to bed. And then when I wake up, I put it off the chair back on the bed.
Mhm.
So, it's
I'm
a
really
big
glad you
process.
And
said
not in
that.
the closet.
Yeah.
And no point in the closet.
No.
Yeah.
After, I follow the 2 to 4 week trend.
Okay.
So,
no.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Good start. Okay.
Let's see. How many people are coming over to this house? Like, this is a big deal. Like, how many people do you
Yeah.
have over? Like,
I can't imagine it's like more than the average person has over. I would say maybe bi-weekly. And by bi-weekly, I mean
Right.
every other week at
That
most.
is what
Okay.
biweekly means. Yep.
Yeah.
okay. What drinks are in this tiny fridge that everybody has to go into this laundry room and
That's
get?
a good
Like, are we
question.
talking Gatorade, water, maybe a little alcohol? I mean, what are we talking about here?
Whoa.
Because I'm just, I don't want to know. People got vices. If they moved this fridge, because one of my suggestions is just moving the little tiny fridge entirely, because it doesn't sound like it's big because the guy specified that it's a tiny room.
Mhm.
What are you going to put in that empty space? You going to get a bigger clothing rack? Because that seems like that just opens the door for more problems. Okay. So those are my
Moving
quick
the
questions.
fridge is a new suggestion. Also,
Yeah.
what's wrong with the big fridge in the kitchen?
That was one of the things. I had Taylor listen to this too, and she said the same thing. She's like, "Why not just put stuff in the big fridge?" So,
Well,
Maybe
Well,
it's wine
did you
bottles.
guys
We
not
have
have,
a
like,
second
a-
fridge.
Did you guys not have like a second fridge growing up? I felt like that was like a suburban staple.
Somebody's affluent.
Yes.
And it
Not to-
shows.
Yeah.
Not to flex so hard on you guys. My dad had 2 fridges.
Yeah, I had
we had
the two-
like
I
a
had the two
garage
fridges.
fridge, but
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
garage
like,
fridge.
They were.
They,
but
they,
that's a thing.
I happen to know they don't have a garage. They have like a carport. So this is their garage fridge essentially.
Okay, I get that, but like we also like we had normal drinks. The second fridge was more overflow, so I feel like
Mm-hmm.
especially if you know people are coming over, just put some drinks in
Sure.
the normal fridge. For
No,
a
that's,
while.
that's actually a great point. Prep the normal fridge for guests, but then at the same time, you have to prep something. You either have to prep your laundry room to move the clothes that are in there, or you have to prep the normal fridge. So there's prep that's just not being done that should be done. I think that's a point that we all agree on.
I do think that we're natural problem solvers, whereas maybe here what we're learning is that we're more focused on this. I think it goes deeper than the fridge and I think there's just a general hatred of the drying rack and like the way it looks. I think it's more of that than it is of the functionality of the fridges.
I don't think they hate it when it's
Yep.
like empty though, right? I think they like the drying.
That's why I say you put it in. Okay, so Noah, I said you put it in the bedroom because then you're gonna put the clothes on it. They're gonna dry, and then you're more likely to then it's out in your bedroom. You're gonna put it in the closet now because you if you're fine with it being empty, it's just gonna sit there empty.
But let me let me intercede quickly. Noah proved my point that people don't put clothes up once they're in their room. People need a reason to put their clothes up. And so the side I took was you keep using the drying rack in the laundry room, which is where a drying rack should be because that's the most functional place for it to exist. You can't do the 2 to 4 week thing in the laundry room. I am ceding that.
But then I can just say the same thing. I'm just saying you can't do the 2 to 4 week thing in the bedroom. I can just say the same thing.
Yeah,
you
but
just said.
it's harder to do that though, and I think Zach and Katie are both saying that they're willing to keep their clothes up in the bedroom. That's like the whole point is that's like what they would do is keep their clothes up longer in the bedroom.
I think they should just burn the place down.
Yeah, well they said they wouldn't do that. They said that's the one thing they can't do.
Okay.
I
let's
never
leave it up to
really
Noah.
said what my idea was.
Yeah,
Sure.
let's hear
Tyler,
it.
I mean, it's your podcast, brother, but I mean, I only got 2
It
seconds
is
here.
my podcast, not Matt's. That's right.
So true.
Yeah, it's both of yours. So I think they need. What does it look like? What does it look like in there, Matt? Like, we have like a built-out laundry room, or is this just like you walk in, it's just like your like metal rack, or
You've
like
seen
can they
this,
cover
Matt?
this
You've
up?
seen this room?
I haven't seen this. I've seen the rest of the house. I've not seen this room specifically. Which as
Interesting
a
that they didn't
guest,
send the guest in there to get a drink. That's crazy.
a guest didn't put him
Yeah.
in there. Yeah, that's true. So I wonder if this is actually as big an issue. Maybe they do prep drinks more often than they're saying.
Did you have anything to drink while you were there?
Okay.
I had dairy-free ice cream, which isn't a
And
drink.
where did that come from?
That was in a freezer for sure.
Okay.
As ice cream is.
Problem
yeah.
solved.
It's
All
just
right,
the
Noah,
fridge.
what's the issue? How do we fix this then? We disagree. How can you unite us?
Yeah, I was just saying that you need to, if you could somehow cover this thing up, like maybe get a better clothing
Like with
rack,
clothes?
you know, like just a better clothing rack, something that maybe like so that way like when she like wants to be a little bit lazier, which isn't a bad thing. I follow the same trend. Just somehow cover this up, maybe get one with doors. I don't know what it looks like. So
What are you talking about?
that was a clothing rack. There's got to be a
One
better
with
clothing
doors?
rack.
You want to
after
add
that
more?
way.
much
You want to
space
add
do we
more
have?
doors? Yeah. Now we're adding a whole nother room just for the clothing rack.
No. It's a little like I don't know, like a little like a armoire type thing. Like you just close it up. She leaves it open.
Armoire?
It could,
I don't think-
We're talking
because
about a
the
3x3
problem with the-
space. We're talking about a 3x3
Well, you got to
space,
think.
Noah.
You got to think the clothing rack at the beginning. He hinted
not
at
square
it being
feet.
also an issue that it's leaking. Like it's just dripping onto the floor. That sounds like a problem. Sounds like we need a better clothing rack here.
Yeah, but where do we?
Think
but
about
at
that.
this point, right now it's dripping somewhere, and I think that's the
I
issue.
feel like the space is the issue.
And Noah, let me.
I agree. You can't put it in the bedroom, Tyler.
Why?
You can't have a 6-foot clothing line in the bedroom. Is
So
Nobody's
true.
saying
So true.
This clothing rack doesn't expand to the size
Yeah.
of that. It, like
No.
of the
He
space
said
that
no.
it's in.
You okay? Well, there's the news right there. Newsflash, Tyler doesn't listen to the recording.
Yes, I did. We just listened to it.
He said that they would put up a clothing line in the bedroom, and he said, "Look, you're getting 6 feet of space in the bedroom."
Noah's spitting right now. This is crazy.
No, he's not spitting because the space is 6x8. The clothing rack would fit in that 6x8 space. It doesn't mean the clothing rack expands into a 6x8 space.
That's why I think the clothing rack has to just be something permanent in the laundry room. Because they wouldn't also just leave an empty space in the laundry room, because that opens another door of like, what are you going to put there? He said clothing line. He'd put up some type of line in the bedroom. If you go back and listen to it, he says clothing line in the bedroom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he said,
what
you're
is this,
doubling
like
your space.
1940s, and there's a tornado on the way, and we got to go run outside.
I don't know.
Don't make it
question
cartoony, Tyler. You know this is a real debate, and you're turning into a TV show.
No, this is silly, and I don't like. Here's what I don't like. One,
What?
You guys are ganging up on me right now.
You told me to pick a side. It sounds like I'm on Matt's. I'm
you're on the
Team
wrong
Matt. I don't even know
side,
what he believes.
Yeah.
But this is silly. We're not like, I'm not saying that if you move, like, so do you think as soon as you move that out of the 3x3 space, it just expands infinitely into the space that's given? No,
he made it sound like
it's going to be the same size though. No, it's going to be the same size.
I agree with you.
We don't need what
he said.
No. He misspoke. It's going to be the same size, and it's going to be in their room.
Bro, I don't think
you
can just say they misspoke.
Because now I'm guessing
He
the room
misspoke.
is maybe carpeted. No, you can't assume. We don't assume on this podcast, Tyler.
Yeah,
you
just
guys have
facts.
never assumed.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true. But I don't know. I disagree with you both. I think you're both clowns.
Noah, can I just ask you, as someone who's married, they've been married about the same time you've been married. Annulment, is that an option for them still?
I guess. Call it off.
Yeah.
Call it off. You heard it here first.
That's
I guess.
It's over.
Yeah, I think that's.
Well, can I throw out my 3 wilds? So the 3 wilds is
I thought you
leaving
already
clothes
did.
hung. No, I never said this, but leaving clothes hung up for 2 to 4 weeks is wild. Being home only 3 months in a year, wild.
Oh, yeah.
And then letting Matt and Tyler make a decision on this is wild.
Wild.
Those are my 3 wilds.
Yeah.
And Noah now. Hong Kong.
I have a whole note sheet right here. I'm speaking facts. So if you want to connect me with them,
Bro
I
brought a
can talk
note
with
sheet
them and
because
actually
he's
give
so
them a real
nervous after
answer.
last week.
Okay, last week you guys set me up. I was set up last week. I was trying to make food for my family. I have a picture of it, Tyler. I'll send you a picture of my hot dogs on the grill. I was mid grilling glizzies, and then you give me a phone call. I was rattled. And then what guys don't want to hang out at Hooters? You twisted it. You twisted it. Your examples were you don't want to hang out at Hooters, and guess what? You want to sit downstairs and wait for the ladies to get ready. No, that sucks, Tyler. We say it's fun to sit there and hang out with the guys waiting for the ladies to get ready, but that stinks. I'd rather just get to the event.
Well, yeah, I would too, but this isn't like a fantasy land.
I agree with you, but those were your 2 examples you could give me. Was
Those
not
were the
going
two
to
we talked
Hooters. Who? I'm married. I don't like going to Hooters. Never
Right.
once.
Okay.
Nope, not me. Not this guy. But what normal guy out there doesn't want to just go to Hooters? Who cares if the food isn't that good? The pricing isn't that bad. You can get like unlimited wings right now or something like that.
So you're saying
Why
you're saying the best part of Hooters is the pricing, correct? Just to make that clear.
Oh, from my perspective, yes.
Yeah.
You guys could. I mean, you guys take whatever slant you want. Like
Okay.
I support the business as like a, business entity. I don't know what you guys like.
Uh-huh.
So
Okay.
Right. Well, thank you.
Yeah. Noah, this has been great. Thank you for coming on. This has been good. I'm glad you came prepared with notes. It shows. It truly does. You sound really, really good today and really smart, and I'm glad you took the right side. To wrap it up, do you want to give us some more animal sounds, or are you good?
no, yeah. I have other things from that podcast too that you guys blasted me on.
I already
and
told him.
the animal sounds.
Okay.
You guys don't give any credit towards the spider. That
Spider
was
was good.
Heck of a poll.
Spider was good.
You ever heard a spider make a noise before? I haven't.
Nope.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, and I did.
So,
I did
yeah.
let Matt know earlier that he was mispronouncing Filipowski. It's not Filipowski.
Oh my gosh, that was infuriating.
Yeah, no, that was news to me.
That was-
So,
Gosh.
well, we appreciate it, Noah. we can make this a more regular thing. I think it went well, and I think you've redeemed yourself from last week. So we appreciate it.
Good. Put some respect on my name.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Okay, don't get attitude now.
No, congrats on the win, Noah. That was big. We'll see you later. That was Noah, everyone. Thanks, Noah. Hopefully that I'm hoping that audio sounds good. We didn't do a sound check with him, so this whole episode might be scratched. But we'll see.
It would be wild if you forgot to press record.
Dude,
It'd just be us talking to Noah and you couldn't hear a thing. But we're gonna assume that you just heard us talking to Noah and it went great.
Yeah. And that took a very long time. I think let's just go straight to Q&A. And we can start wrapping this episode up because we still have a little bit of a ways to go. Q&A this week. I don't know. I logged on to our app today to get the Q&A questions, which I do every day, and they said they're down for maintenance on today only, and some functions won't be available. So if you put a Q&A question in, I saw them. I just didn't write them down because I would have never thought this would have happened. So that was really tough to see this afternoon. So put some Q&A questions in.
If you
Oh, wait, do you really?
Yeah, it was Kim, of course, and
of course.
First, because last week we asked what Kim was planning, and I believe she said something nefarious.
Sure.
But then, I forgot the rest. But
yeah, that's kind of where I was too.
she did say she was up to something nefarious with those birds. So we'll loop back around to this one when that updates.
Mm-hmm.
But just an update on the bird situation, I guess. That's good.
Yeah, we'd love to have that. So yeah, I think that's the thing. Leave us a question on Spotify or Instagram. Hopefully this is a one-time thing because we love the questions. One time we had like 20 questions from fans and we were like, we won't need these in the future. So we answered all of them at once. Kind of regret that now. I wish we kind of had a backlog of those. But ask us questions and we'll debate them live on the podcast. You can hear Tyler be wrong again after he just lost a debate to Noah, which is unprecedented
That did not
until
happen.
we agree. Yeah, it actually did. We were all there. So all that being said, after a hostile episode, let's come back together and let's talk about a relationship that's strong. We just talked about one that's not strong, that marriage. Let's talk about a real relationship, mine and yours. The story of us, I think this is the finale. I think we can get through the rest of it. We still, frankly, we've only scratched the surface of who we are, but starting after college, everything kind of becomes very real and it stays at the same level. So we could go day by day for the last 4 years probably and talk about moments that were special in each of those days. But essentially, the root of it is we were boys from the time I graduated college. I moved away, and that only made the heart grow fonder. If I can maybe say that. Talking on Zoom during COVID. Let me put you on a COVID for a second. We're anti-COVID on the show. Not anti that it's like, you know what I'm saying. We don't support.
Oh, you mean the pandemic?
Yeah. Yeah. No. Honestly, COVID was just kind of a bummer. And I think that's kind of my stance I was taking. But throughout that, I ended up moving back home, and me and my boy Tyler started just hanging out daily, jamming, playing golf.
6 feet apart.
6 feet apart, of course, masked up, double each. But we were just bonding over that. We were going on trips together just to play golf elsewhere, if you will. And it's just kind of been growing. Then I sadly moved away again. But who kept visiting? Tyler. And through it all, we've become boys. We've become podcast hosts on one of the, I'll say, like top 10 million most listened to podcasts in the world. And every week we're getting closer to number one. So that doesn't happen if we don't become boys from the minute that Rudy Gobert coughed on all his teammates and shut down the entire world. So anything you want to add on that? I know that was like a very like broad overview of everything.
Yeah,
so
that was a very condensed version.
Yeah. What am I missing?
I like, we can't jump into everything, but I will say the reason we started this podcast is because we originally tried to start another podcast where, our first idea was that we were going to do something where we just argued.
Yeah.
And we were going to have a third person on called the Pointer Anointer. Instead of the poll, we were going to have somebody that just listened to the whole thing and then gave somebody a point at the end.
Yeah.
And we evolved past that to
Well,
a
I would say
podcast.
we devolved past that. That was a solid idea.
That. Yeah, we devolved past that to a podcast called History Adjacent. Now we have one episode of that recorded, and what we were planning on there was that neither of us knew history.
Don't tell him.
No, it's
Don't
okay.
tell me.
We're
Okay.
past it. Neither of us knows history,
Uh-huh.
so we got on a call, and like we're on now. We pressed record, and then we both picked a topic. We went over elections in the first episode.
In the 1860s?
Yeah, and we picked elections that happened to be back to back. We had to. I think the premise was that we had to like teach each other about our election or our history facts and stuff.
Yeah.
But then we had to slip in a lie, and then the other person had to guess the lie, and it was maybe the worst thing because I think we recorded it, and then the next day I think you were probably editing it, and then we were like, this can't be published.
I'll say it right now. It was about 5 minutes after we finished recording. You called me and we kind of both just got on that call and we're like, that was not like good.
And
Like-
also during that first recording, my computer just died midway through.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So then there was like 30 minutes of dead air from me trying to get back on to record.
Uh-huh.
So everything was against us.
Yeah,
And
and-
then
I think it's so important to note, we also just don't care about history, like at all.
that was
picked-
definitely the hardest part is that
We
yeah,
picked a topic we just didn't care about, and then we had to do
Nope.
research on it, and that was the whole show.
we were just on Wikipedia. I was on the Wikipedia page for the election of 1864 for way longer than I needed to be.
Yeah, it was frankly one of the low points of my entire life, honestly. But
That led.
we took a few weeks off, and
Yeah.
where are we now?
Until we agree. Thank you for listening.
Oh, thank you for listening.